we're hoping that you're not having a case of the Mondays. Anybody? We're just talking about Mondays.
I'm having a little bit of a case of the Mondays.
We're talking about, boy, if we really stick to Mondays, oh, man, the energy.
It's always hard to come in and be the first show on a Monday.
I'm going to have to, like, chug some Blue Bottle or something. Hey, everybody.
I know. Maybe that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to bring some coffee in here that is meant for this show.
That'll be our thing.
Uh-huh.
Monday coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Get
then
your morning Java with the Android show.
How is everybody out there?
How are you guys doing? Ooh, I need to log into chat.
Chatosphere.
That is right. This is day 2, week 2, day 2 of the Android brainstorm.
That is correct.
And what do you know? There's Jeannie. Hey, you're able to make it because we aren't at the same time as Buzz Out Loud anymore.
I know. Well, we have the third co-host now.
That's right. We would like everyone to meet our new third co-host.
Who doesn't really want to talk to anybody.
Very shy, as you can see. Sawyer is an Android fan, but you'd never know it.
Right over here, Sawyer. Look. Oh, my. Here we go.
Okay, now we worked on proper microphone usage, Sawyer, and you're not at all abiding. That's okay. We'll give you a pass this time.
Tensor guy, is my energy too much? I don't really have a lot of energy. I'm faking it. I'm faking it big time. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry if I'm belligerent to you right now, but
It is noon. It's not like it's early morning.
No,
it's 3 o'clock on the East Coast. They're like almost done with their day.
Yeah, you guys are over your case of the Mondays.
Yeah, exactly.
What's on tonight? Monday night. All right, so we're here for the Android show. And
that's right.
I know a lot of people want to contribute, and thank you for those of you who have emailed. And
yeah, we got a lot of emails, actually.
Tweet replied, lots of things. So you guys have contributed. I threw the name All About Android out to Leo, and he liked it.
Did he?
But he also said, be careful of using AAA.
Yeah.
Because we could get sued. And we don't want to get sued.
We were talking about the whole membership card thing, and that's probably exactly the type of thing that we would have to avoid.
I still love it. Here's your Android membership card. But
I love it too, but it's almost like, would we be doing the membership card if AAA didn't exist and did the membership card thing already? Not. Probably not. Yeah. Although there's no mistakening, is that the word? What our AAA is versus what the other AAA is. It's not like we're impeding on each other's
We're not,
ground.
But we don't want to confuse, and we don't want to confuse outside people. So the URL, should we go with this, would probably be twit.tv/AAA.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. All the other shows do that type of thing.
Well, so. TNT. There is a whole network.
Yeah, exactly. Built around acronyms.
So,
just a quick little poll in the chat room here.
Yeah.
Yay or nay? Are you guys cool with All About Android as the show name? We'll take a vote here and go for it. And they're starting
Cheeto says no. Everybody else says yes.
Yeah, getting a lot of yeses. Cheeto, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Cheeto. I'm sorry. Normally, okay, never mind. See,
says no.
I think it's unanimous.
Websun said no, but everybody else is saying yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nose. It appears that most people are okay with it, and I'll be honest. We got a lot of write-in submissions, Twitter, email, tons of name suggestions.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like I said last week, it was almost like overkill for me, anyways. At a certain point, I couldn't decipher.
Sometimes when you have too many choices, that's an impediment to the whole process.
Exactly.
I don't like that. I actually like to have just a few. So we kind of rounded it down to World of Android, Android Tomorrow, All About Android. I mean, we still need the official blessing from the Chief Twit, but I think that's kind of where we're headed.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
I like it.
He liked it too. I was like, oh, good.
Kind of rolls off the tongue. All About Android.
It kind of does.
Welcome to All About Android. And it sums up the show. Hopefully, it sums up the purpose of the show anyways.
I kind of think it does it to a T. So, some people, the Android of tomorrow. But you know what? If we record something and we're late, Or if something breaks and you're listening to the show on Friday, we recorded on Monday, we're not very tomorrow, are we?
Yeah, that is true.
So I'm just saying.
You're just making it easy for us to slack, in other words.
Well, it's a weekly show, you know.
Hey,
so.
I'm all about admitting, making it easy for us to slack. It's cool. So let's see here. So I went through our fancy little doc and I kind of compiled some of the ideas that were sent in and some of a little bit of a summary of the things that we talked about last week.
Nice.
So I guess I can kind of hit on some of these and we can see what everybody thinks about them. One of the general ideas that people had sent in, who was this specifically that reminded me of this? Zach B. was really fond of the idea of keeping themes to shows, to a particular focus. And I was wondering what you thought of that. It sounds like it would be...
in the app section to me. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you can't focus the news, I guess. It would have to be more apps or maybe apps and tips, kind of combining it. But I think maybe from what Zach B had mentioned in the email, doing something like this show, has for example, the title would be podcast. And, other than the news, which, of course, you don't know what the news is going to be. And so you talk about whatever the news happens to be. The focus of some of the other segments ends up being around that particular topic. Does that kind of shoehorn us in?
No, I mean,
lock us in a way
I think what he's talking about, well, to me, that would refer to
just
whatever
the
apps that we cover. So if it's podcasts, we're going to cover Beyond Pod and Dogcatcher.
And Listen.
Those kinds of things. And if we do it the way that I was thinking that we do it, whereas head-to-head, we'd have two apps go head-to-head, and maybe we have 4 apps, but we do 2 head-to-head, another 2 head-to-head, and then we vote, that kind of thing. I don't know, whatever. We could do it that way. But I'd also like to keep up to date with any new apps, if there were. I guess that would be in the news then.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, no, and I mean... that's something that I wanted to talk about as well, because there are always, these kind of updates to significant apps. Like if Google Maps, anytime Google Maps rolls out an update, it's usually pretty awesome and it changes the functionality in a pretty cool way. So it's great to mention it. Some sort of like ever-changing, like up-to-date app news. Like these are releasing this week.
And I guess we could do that in the apps section. So we have our general Android news. We have some, hardware news, and then we go into the apps section. And then we do quick updates. These, if there was any significant update for the week.
Updates or releases, if some big, app that has been on another OS finally releases their app and it's,
absolutely,
it's acclaimed and been waited for and all that. It would be good to talk about.
That would be really cool to start with that. And then we go into our little head-to-head. That's our real review section.
Right, right.
So,
then, like an app... release.
Well, what they do on iPad today is that they have, Sarah's got themes, and they I can't, it depends, but they'll go over 3 or 4 different apps within that theme, and they're not necessarily, or saying one is better than the other, but they kind of, they talk about each of them, and then they have their app cap section where they talk about whatever their app of the week. Oh,
I see. So they're kind of separated. You're covering some apps based on the theme in detail, and then you're also covering a cool app that you happen to be using a lot and like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that too. So steal a little idea from our sister show.
That's right. Okay. Well, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
What are some other ideas that people came up with?
Well, there was definitely a few mentions about keeping tabs on international.
It's hard for us.
It's hard
because we don't live where you live.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's just so many devices releasing, and that's the real challenge.
The real issue with Android in general. So, we're talking about, look, I've got my Nexus S, but then someone out there has a, I don't know, Sony Ericsson Xperia or whatever, and then it's not compatible or they have different issues, and I might not necessarily know what their issues are because I don't have that phone. So it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, and as far as trolling for news, we had already kind of talked about not bogging down the show too much in news, but if people out there, if you have suggestions for good sources for Android news that is maybe more internationally specific,
let us know.
Because we're going to be trolling the usual suspects as far as Android news is concerned, but maybe maybe there's a UK Android blog that's really good about covering, kind of the UK specific or, over the pond specific news on Android. And that would be good for us to at least monitor, because there might be some big thing that, really hits there that doesn't necessarily involve the US quite as much, but is worth talking about. And I think maybe that's where some of these people are talking. Because, as far as hardware is concerned, it's really hard to keep up on that. But general news, it might be a little bit easier to kind of throw a few bones in that direction.
Gallifrey Rebel asks us, do you think there is enough content to do a theme as the base of a show? But I think we kind of answered that. It would be in the app section. It wouldn't be the entire show.
Yeah, it's hard to think that we could theme a show with all pieces, including like we said, the news, because you just don't know. The news is whatever happens in the news is what happens, and we pick the top few stories and cover that, and it would suck for us to like eliminate something that's actually very big because it doesn't have anything to do with podcast apps or whatever,
Right.
I don't think it would do anybody justice, but possibly around the other elements, maybe we review podcast apps and then we have a how-to or a tip.
Yeah,
that's podcast.
That's the other thing that when I was talking to Leo about the show, he really wants us to focus, on news and how-to as well. Besides, our reviews of apps and stuff like that. So if we had a tip every week, that would be really cool.
Right.
Like, it could just be one tip. Like, 1 week it could be you, 1 week it could be me, 1 week it could be a guest.
Yes, we can always come up with a tip, and the tips don't really take a whole lot of time.
They don't.
Some of them can be very basic. Some of them could be a little bit more detailed or whatever, but those are pretty easy to come up with.
But I think tips, I think that's key. We should put that in the show as, very important.
Trying to find one particular email. Okay, so maybe this is it. Yes, and we had kind of emailed very slightly about this, so we haven't really totally given it the full discussion here. But Hernan Tylim emailed in. This was to twitshowbeta@gmail.com. If you want to kind of send in suggestions, you're welcome to do that. Says he has one suggestion, which he thinks is key, and wanted to throw it out. Cool. An Android show where apps are compared and discussed with how-tos and other stuff is invaluable, but what is key is archival and being able to quickly reference individual snippets of your show. So for example, let's say you have a show where you compare different podcatchers. That little segment ideally should be uploaded individually to YouTube or wherever, so that when you look for podcatcher, dogcatcher, Google Listen, whatever you search for, that segment would come up. And I think what he's saying is that we basically do the entire show and that's posted, and then we also take out clips from the show
apps,
and for the apps and things.
Yes, I think we could do that. It's just a matter of manpower.
Yeah.
I think we've been toying around with doing stuff like that with other shows, but we just don't have the manpower, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times once you're posting a show, thank God it's done. It's posted.
Yeah. Undoubtedly, I'm probably going to be the one, I imagine, editing these things, and I'm happy to play around with that and see, because I think I totally and completely realize the value in something like this, and I completely agree. Was there a different way that you had mentioned in the email as far as like keywording or making it searchable?
Well, I would just put, if we were to extract, say, the app section, we just extract the whole thing, not individually. Not here's dog catcher. We just put it all together. This is podcast
and
apps,
make a title that's very
and then put tags so that when people search for it, they would find that it's in that episode. Because I think they would actually find it more beneficial to see the comparisons, as long as it's not too long.
Yeah, right. And it would actually be pretty easy for me to make a Final Cut template that I can just go in, out, move it into the template, export. It's going to be a small thing. It won't take very long to upload. I guess the question there then becomes, what do we end up doing with those little clips? Do they go out on their own podcast feed, or do they just go to YouTube? But if they're just going to YouTube, I feel like it has some utility, but it kind of not maximizing what we could be doing with that. So I don't know how TWiT at all would handle something like that, where we're breaking out pieces from a show. But it's a really good suggestion. Yeah, no, it's a great suggestion, and I think that's something that we need to take internally and talk about. Yeah, so we'll talk. Is this a benefit or not? Absolutely. Absolutely, very handy. So let's see here, some other general ideas. Sam Bensalem, or Ben Salem, said, what is the king phone for each carrier, and anoint a new king when it's surpassed? So he's basically saying there are all these different carriers with all these different phones, and if you're looking to switch carriers or buy into Google and you want to know what is the best phone in a particular carrier, having some sort of running tab on who the king is.
The king of the week,
I know,
is the Motorola
that might be kind of difficult.
Atrix when that comes out.
I mean, then you're keeping tracks on every single carrier.
But everybody's different too about what they think is best and their needs. I mean, it's just, you can even see it the way they customize their phones. So
yeah, absolutely.
What's king to you may not be king to me.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's very subjective, as Eric Duckman in the chat room pointed out. And I completely agree with that. But good suggestion. Developer involvement was another one that was kind of a running theme.
Yes.
And I think we had discussed that last week as being something that would be great to
a must.
Thread into the show.
Yeah, I mean, if we could have a developer on every show, that'd be awesome. Because they would have the back-end infrastructure and, info that could help us with the news and hardware and things like that, so that's key.
Basics, Android basics, which I guess that could kind of fall into the how-tos and stuff like that as well.
Oh, yeah, basics. Yeah, that's kind of how-to. Yeah.
I think the advanced people want to make sure, the advanced Android users want to make sure that that they're not left in the cold and that everything's too basic. And people who are just getting into Android who might be passionate about it but don't know a whole lot about the OS. Because as you know, Android users, there is so much hidden functionality. It's not like you get a manual around Android. You have to figure it all out by searching online. So even the easiest things are like hidden for some reason.
Exactly.
So it would probably just be, I think maybe the general suggestion there is to pay attention to both sides.
Ton of new Android users out there. The other week, I realized that both of my girlfriends who had a Trio and a Palm Pre previously, they were both on Sprint, both of them had Evos in their hands. And they had just gotten it, and I thought, whoa, you guys are up to speed. This is awesome. So, I mean, not to belittle them, but if they've got, the latest cool Android phone, there's many other people who are doing the same thing. So there are a lot of new users out there that are still trying to discover. I think I'm still a newbie. I mean, I've started using, it was September, I started using the Nexus 1. And then I got this one when it came out, the Nexus S. So, I'm sure, Jason, you'll be showing me tips and all.
There's the Nexus S.
Goodness. Oh, yeah, sorry. Here it is. Sorry.
We totally have
I took it away, yeah.
A black chair behind it. But
sorry. So I got this little stand here from Macworld.
Really? So you got the stand at Macworld?
I did. It's this cheapy plastic thing I thought maybe I could use.
I guess they're probably selling all their wares, not just Mac specific, right?
Yeah, I mean, this fits here. It's kind of, well,
it just seems strange to me that you get an Android peripheral.
I know. It's called the OtterBox. But it's not, it's just a phone peripheral.
I see. It's just a stand. It's not phone specific.
Stand. No,
gotcha.
not phone
I was thinking it was a docking bay.
And the fact that my phone is curved, it's a little, I have to be careful because it can just kind of bloop, bloop, bloop,
right.
bloop. But anyways, there we go. Oh, look at Pulse.
Yeah,
one of my favorite apps.
Really?
One of my favorite apps. Mostly because this app is one of the apps that looks exactly the same on the iOS. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like they didn't change it. They didn't not give the same features. Some of the apps that I see in the Android store that are also in iOS, I'm like, well, why didn't they do this? Why is it different? Why does it look different? But this one is pretty much the same. It's one of my RSS readers. I love it. See what's at top? Android Central. What is in there? Limitless Droid.
I will have to check that out. It's one of those apps that I keep meaning to check out, and I just haven't.
You know what? It's good for if you want to read quickly some of the top news. But if you need to dig in, like you haven't been around for a week reading, then you need to go into your reader. You need to. And I have Reader on here, but this is just something really quick that I
kind of a casual look at. Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, look at. Let's see. HTC Inspire 4G. Oh, really? Okay. Interesting. Oh, I could Facebook. I could Twitter.
We could totally do a show about.
Oh my God! And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to send it to InstaFetch, which is my Instapaper client, and there it goes.
An Instapaper client. That's a word or concept that I don't know if I know.
Instafitch? Oh, you don't know Instapaper?
No.
You don't do Instapaper or Read It Later or any of those? Like, it's kind of like you basically just save it for
Am I
later.
showing my noob?
I'm surprised I'm teaching you something. This is awesome. I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn so much, and everybody's been teaching me.
Instapaper.
Instapaper is a service that you could use to just, bookmark.
And read later. That sounds really handy, actually.
I use Instapaper. Some people have been trying to convince me to use Read It Later, and I haven't yet, because once you invest in one, it's like $4 or $5, for the app, and that's why. But anyways,
cool.
So
nice. All right. These are all really good things that we can talk about on the show.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I love that you have these suggestions, these things that I know nothing about, because then I'm not like playing along, and like, oh, and what does it do when you blah, blah, blah? Like, funny, you should ask.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll get into a ton of things here. I mean, just like home screens, look at how many I've tried.
No kidding.
Now, this is the granddaddy.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
This is the newbie. It's free. This one's like $4.
Yeah.
It's well worth it, though. It's well
totally
worth it. I mean, these are the kinds of things that we'll talk about. And then this is a beta right now, Slide Screen Pro that I'm using here. Check that out.
Oh, I heard. I saw the screenshot for this quite a while ago, and then I completely forgot about it.
Oh, look, no items. Nobody's called me. How sad.
Oh,
here's the
not
weather.
Very popular, Eileen.
Oh, let's see. I'm not very popular. Is it really 31? I doubt that. Oh, somebody just sent me an email.
Looking. That really changes the look of the phone.
It does.
Like entirely.
But you could also just use it as the app itself. It doesn't have to be the home screen.
Yeah.
But it's free beta right now. I've had the light version, but the beta for the pro version just came out today. So we would be talking about it on the show.
Oh, I know. This is like endless plugs for for the shows.
Exactly.
I want to talk about it more now, but only a handful of people in the chat and maybe later on YouTube would ever see it. So we got to keep the good stuff.
I know we do. I know.
Can release it to everybody.
We'll go back. I'll go back and show that later.
Let me take a look through here because there were a few other things. 40 Thieves in the chat room had a pretty good suggestion that I've been thinking about over the weekend. Make your own app with App Inventor. And
let's have a contest.
Beyond that, exactly. Somebody else said an app inventing or an app developing-a-thon. Maybe we could rename that. But I think they kind of go hand in hand. You can create a challenge, you create apps, maybe with a particular theme of some sort, or maybe just leave it open-ended and, anoint a winner, award a lame prize.
I like how the lame prize. And I read that. All right, what lame prize can I come up with this week?
I know. Yeah, I mean, maybe the prize is just knowing that you're awesome and knowing that other listeners and viewers of the show are downloading it. Like maybe create some sort of a gallery of apps made by fans and made by participants of the show. Because, you can. App Inventor is now out of beta and it's free.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just seems like kind of a no-brainer to do something like that.
That would be really fun.
Yeah, and kind of see what people come up with. I'd be really curious to see how creative people can get with that.
We need to do our own app, though.
I know. That's the other side of it.
We could do whatever we want. We don't have to be a theme or whatever, but I did sign up for it, but I haven't done anything with it yet. So.
Me too. I'm ashamed to say I actually was granted access before it was opened up.
And you haven't done anything yet?
And no, I totally. It all happened right around the time that I was switching to TWiT. And,
I only signed up, I think, in December or something, and then I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
I watched the video. Look how easy it is. I'm like, oh, it's really easy.
Yeah, drag and drop.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really cool. It'd be a cool way to get people it would also be a really cool way if you're talking about developer involvement in the show for the users and fans of the show to kind of get involved and understand what it's like a little bit. Now, mind you, App Inventor isn't what Rovio's using to build Angry Birds by any means, by any stretch of the imagination.
Build your own Angry Birds.
But it's kind of cool to be able to figure out for yourself that you have these tools available, and you don't necessarily have that on other platforms.
Okay, I'm gonna give us a challenge that we should come up with an app in 6 months. I'm going to say 6 months. I know it's easier, but knowing how busy we are.
Yeah, I know.
Coming up with July.
How vetted do these things have to be, too?
July. Let's say July, even if it's simple. If you come up with it sooner, we need to come up with our own, and then we'll challenge all of you guys, too.
All right, so we have a deadline for ourselves.
For ourselves,
each of us individually.
Yes, individually.
To have created an app by July.
Yeah.
By July 2011.
This is the only way to do it, is to give yourself deadlines.
Absolutely. That's why we're doing this brainstorm this way. We're like, the only way we're going to start a show is if we just start brainstorming. Let's do it publicly, and then we're held accountable for it.
Exactly.
But those were fantastic suggestions. 40 Thieves with the App Inventor, and then I can't remember. I didn't write down the name for the developing-a-thon. But those are awesome. And then other segment new ideas, and then we can kind of take a look at a few of those news pieces. If you want.
Let's do that. Really quick, Aloha Tom. If Eileen is going to do the show, I'll tune in every. Oh, thank you, Aloha Tom. Okay, I thought I was reading it wrong. It's hard to talk. Okay. And then I see something really quickly on chat.
Yes.
And then I'm like, what?
It is really hard to keep tabs on the chat.
So I might not always. I mean, I know why most of our hosts don't usually, unless there's a break and like, okay, chat room.
Rapscallion, you're saying that you can also have developers who have made some of your favorite apps on the show.
Yes, that would be awesome.
And that would absolutely.
Like the Pulse people. Sorry.
That would absolutely be what we're talking about here.
Yup.
Bring them on. Everyone's asking when the actual show will begin. We don't really know yet.
Don't know.
Sorry. I mean, I can't help but think that we're kind of molding this little beta thing after how Framerate kind of started their show, which was doing a bunch of these, kind of ironing out the kinks, and then when it's ready to go live and official, it'll go out. So
yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Zephyr, yes, of course, we'll be covering tablets.
Oh my God. Never mind. Should we get into, speaking of tablets, should we get into some news?
Sure.
So to Wednesday, big Android event, February 2nd, and the Twig folks are going to cover it live. It's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific, Wednesday, February 2nd. Okay. And Gina and Jeff, they're going to join Tom. And there's going to be a live streaming. You could watch it if you don't want to watch our coverage and our commentary or whatever. YouTube.com/Android. But check out the video for Honeycomb. There it is. The next generation of Android.
What I'm noticing about Honeycomb, I mean, only because you can't deny it, you can't avoid it, is just it's going from green to blue.
Oh. That's true.
There really is no green.
Check that out. Look at that, how fluid it is.
And even if you look at the invite for the event on Wednesday, it's blue. It's all blue.
That's right.
Yeah. It's kind of a departure for everything that we've known about how they've been. It's the most minor of things. Green to blue, but I mean it's significant. Even the little Android guy's green.
Check out that.
But yeah, it looks pretty slick.
It.
These things always look okay. Of course, Tom would probably.
Oh, I love the page thing.
Do you? I think Tom's not a fan of the page thing.
Yeah, he's wrong.
If you can, why not? Why not?
Look at YouTube. My God. Okay, so is this making you want to get a Zoom or a tablet at all?
Yeah, this is actually, I gotta say, I'm probably gonna be eating crow very early on this year because one of my predictions for the TNT prediction show for 2011 was that iPad would still be king by the end of the year, and that very well could be true. Like these things could really be awesome and still not, surpass the market share of the iPad. Right. But I am really surprised at how awesome it's looking compared to kind of what I expected.
It looks amazing. I know. I am kind of on the fence as to. Well, I have an iPad, and now I am on the fence. Well, how great would it be for me to have a tablet on this show and show all that stuff? I almost got the tab, and then I didn't because I wanted to get the phone.
I feel like the tab is a halfway point. The Galaxy Tab is the best one to shoehorn, an Android OS that isn't meant for tablets into a tablet. And it does a decent job with it. But obviously, Honeycomb is designed around tablets. And once that comes, people with the Galaxy Tab are going to be like, why do I have this? Unless they port, of course, Honeycomb to the Galaxy Tab, which I don't know if I've seen for a fact whether they've confirmed that would happen or not.
No, I haven't seen that either. And the other, there was a lot of, speaking of our news, we have, on here, we're just jumping around, but Samsung tablets, 2 million slates, 80 million phones sold in Q4, breaks revenue records. And then today, I saw that Samsung reveals Galaxy Tabs real sales are quite small. Did you see that?
Wait
article?
a minute. So I did see the comparison.
Well, I know I didn't put this in the doc. I'm sorry. This is just something that I saw this morning. Here, I'm going to put it in right underneath here.
Here, so this is the story. Samsung tabulates 2 million slates. Now, is that 2 million since its release, or 2 million in the last quarter, which could possibly be the very same thing, actually? Still, that's very significant.
It is.
It certainly shows a thirst for Android tablets.
Exactly.
It's most definitely the highest selling Android tablet.
The Electronista ad underneath.
Oh, there it is.
Samsung, during the call for its fall quarter results, admitted that its actual sales of the Galaxy Tab weren't nearly as strong as claimed, although it had sold 1.5 million Galaxy Tabs in 2010 and 2 million by this month. Company official Lee Young-hee, when pressed, said that these were only sales to carriers and retail stores, not real customers.
Yeah. So it's that whole question of, do your numbers reflect what you ship to the stores, or do your numbers reflect what people are actually buying?
Exactly. I have not seen too many Samsung Galaxy Tabs in the wild. How about you? Jeff Jarvis, because I watched Twig.
I did
the
at
only
CES.
one I know. You did at CES. Okay.
That doesn't count.
Well,
but yeah, no, I haven't. But admittedly, I haven't been out in the wild very much lately.
That's true.
When I worked at CNET, I was out in the wild when I was running the train back and forth to downtown. Here, I'm commuting my car. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, so if by out in the wild you mean this office, I did see one a little while ago.
You saw one Leo had.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he already returned it, so we have not seen it anymore. But you can if you watch Twig, Jeff has one.
But when I was at CES was my first real hands-on on it. I was really excited to do that. And yeah, it was all right. But like I said, it feels like a halfway point.
Yeah. Now, how about the honeycomb on the Nook Color? Did you see that?
That is cool. I have the video for that.
Let's show that to everybody. That's really cool. Maybe I don't have to buy I just get a Nook Color.
Now this is a hack job too.
Yeah,
right?
no, it is.
But
we could show how to do that.
Sure. Why not? Well, of course.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
And there you go. You got a little bit of that honeycomb action.
Look at that.
The Nook Color,
There's your
responsive. Although I'm trying to figure out here, is it not rendering because it's like overloaded, or is it just an empty desktop? You know what I mean? Like I'm sure it's not powered for Honeycomb.
Right.
So I wonder if that's just
that's
struggling
true.
to
if it's
try
not
and
powered,
render.
it's probably going to be slow.
Maybe. But you know, if you've rooted the Nook Color to be able to bring Honeycomb onto it, then that also means that you can overclock it, and or I would guess anyways, get a little root CPU action and overclock your Nook Color.
Show something super cool. Let's see here. Ooh.
Let's see.
Oh, he was showing the build number and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. I mean,
it's cool that you can do this with the Nook Color.
But you could see how slow it's running.
Proof of concept, let's say.
Whoever can't wait. There you go. Can't wait for Honeycomb. Oh, I like that. I like the swirl. Little things. I know. I like it. Sorry, guys. I'm just sticking to hardware here. You saw the Atrix 4G?
I did. I saw that in person. I was pretty impressed. You know, we put it in the little dock and saw the kind of desktop with the mouse set up, and yeah, I was impressed. Not impressed enough to move to AT&T, but impressed.
Yeah, that's
like
issue,
the big
right?
sticking point for me.
Is it only going to be AT&T?
The Atrix, yes. Motorola has the Bionic, I believe, and that's the Verizon one. You know, they're kind of, the LTE Verizon one, and the Atrix is AT&T. Yeah.
Okay. Well, man, that laptop though, the hookup with the phone is so nice. I've been dying for.
It is. You know what?
Oh, is this the video? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the video for the Atrix. It was nice, and it was really cool to kind of see. It kind of seems like the type of thing that you want to do when you've got your phone in your hand and you're trying to do something that would just so much easily be done with an actual hardware laptop. And maybe for travel it would be,
I think for travel, that's what I'm eyeing it for.
That's got to be the key.
I'm noticing that I'm going to be traveling a lot, and lugging this 15-inch laptop.
Yeah, but you're still lugging something. I mean, I guess it's not
light,
as heavy,
though. It's
but
super light.
You're still lugging a big old piece of hardware that's a companion.
You are, but I'm thinking like, well, I was thinking, well, I want the Mac Air for travel. No, I can't really justify getting it right now. Yeah. But if I had this phone with the, accompanying, laptop, then it's done, right? But I don't know.
I like it. I think it's a good concept and, a good beginning point for this type of concept. And when I was playing with it, really kind of felt like, okay, there's going to be others that do this type of thing. It's kind of a no-brainer once you kind of see it in action. It makes a lot of sense.
What do you guys think in the chat room? The Atrix, anybody into it? People are looking for the Bionic.
Hate it, says Lobster.
Okay.
Yeah, but Lobster, you hate everything.
Want one, looks awesome, meh. Why carry a fake laptop?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Lobster, is yes, it has functionality and everything like that, but if you're gonna take up that kind of space, is the phone going to be so incredibly powerful enough to do the things that you want that it will be worth it to you to bring this gigantic dock with you?
It's not that gigantic, though. It's like it's smaller than this, so you wouldn't have to bring your laptop.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like I already bring this everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
but does the laptop actually do things that this thing couldn't do?
Well, I only played with it.
That you might end up needing. And
yeah,
then you're like, oh, why do I have this fake laptop here?
Exactly. Well, I mean, we have to figure that out. I mean, I have to play with it a little bit more, and then there's also the issue of battery life. Yeah. Which I don't know about you, but Motorola to me doesn't have the best battery life.
That hasn't been my experience.
No.
No. I mean, that
is your experience.
My experience is that it has
the battery
not been
life.
very good.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
That's what I'm worried about when I talked to the Motorola reps. I said, no, we're going to be working on the battery life. Okay. I'll believe it when I start hearing people who, let's see, who said yes that they want it. Like D. Nicholas L. When you get one, you tell me, oh, yes, the battery is that good. Okay.
D-Dog also says it's looks pretty light, but rumors are that it's pretty cheap, and the pretty cheap is a key, I think, for something like this. It's got to be inexpensive. If you're dropping another significant portion on this laptop attachment.
I thought he meant like cheap feeling.
Oh,
like cheap. No, I think we've heard rumors that it might be $150.
Okay,
under $200.
That's true. What did he mean there?
I know.
Think about
if
the
you
other
meant
side
cheap,
of that.
like, oh, does it feel cheap? Does it feel,
I mean, it felt thin, and I didn't really, give it the rugged test. But I mean, yes, it's an add-on attachment, so it's probably not going to be as thick and durable as a big MacBook Pro or something like that. But
yup.
Anyway, so but I think it's promising. I like the Atrix. I wonder if it's going to be overshadowed very soon by something else. It's definitely not my new phone.
Okay, so now I think we talked about this, but I can't remember if we talked about it on air. Which is the phone that you're going to upgrade to? What is Jason Howell going to upgrade to?
I don't know yet.
Everybody wants you, Jason. Everybody wants you. What would they need to do to convince you? I am the new phone for you.
Well, I think
Jason, I am your phone.
Come to me, Jason. I am your new phone. I think my wish list has been front-facing camera, preferably dual core, because I think they're all kind of heading in that direction. Yeah. Put it back down. I mean, I don't know if you necessarily get all of your preferences right now, but which is hard to believe also because there are so many Android phones and devices out there. Why can't one of them have everything? Vanilla Android is important to me. Although if you're risky enough, or if you're gutsy enough to root your phone and throw ROMs on your phone as opposed to the stock OS experience, then I don't really know if not having vanilla Android is that big of a deal, because eventually it hits your phone through the root community.
Why does everyone say gutsy and scary? I mean, I guess it seems to me like most people that I know who do it have no problems.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I don't know why I said that, because it doesn't really scare me now.
Okay.
For some reason, it's scary when you first do it because you think I dropped a couple of $100 on this thing and I really like it and I don't want to totally mess it up, you know, to the point to where A, I can't take it back if I need to, or B, oh no, what did I do? I made the most fatal of errors and now it's a brick and I can't undo it, which I don't even, maybe it's possible to do that, but that's the fear.
Yeah.
But the reality in my experience was that if you're good at following directions and going step by step,
we're gonna have
you're probably not gonna. You're not gonna have a problem. I mean, Darren was the one that kind of
he pushed you. He pushed you over the edge. Yeah. Well, I told him. I said, look, when we root my phone, he needs to be sitting right there. He needs to be sitting right there and showing and looking at. So.
And the funny thing is, like the first time you do it, it's kind of, you know, scary, and you're watching the progress bar and you're like, oh God, or you see the boot screen, the recovery screen as they call it, and you know it's tiny little green text. It looks like a terminal of some sort, and it's scary and intimidating to see that stuff when you're so used to seeing the big bubbly buttons and all the other stuff that's, you know, pre-programmed to be on your phone to begin with. But afterwards, you're like, oh wait, that didn't hurt.
Yeah, no, I've jailbroken a few iPhones, and I do remember that experience of like, what is the term? Why is it showing? And then it's fine. Nothing. I've never had to. It didn't brick my phone.
Yeah.
You know, you just know.
And the benefits and all that kind of stuff.
I just want screen captures. For this show, we need screen captures. I need to be able to just capture what is on here. Apparently, I have to root my phone to do that, and whatever, fine. I have little needs, but some of those needs means I have to root the phone. Fine.
I would really like an Android phone for the show specifically. An Android phone that actually had live video out.
HDMI. So we need the HDMI.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess it would have to be
DroidX,
HDMI, so that you could see
does the Evo have it?
The UI through the video cable and plug it into the feed and take it like that instead of having to shoot it with a camera.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Oh, wait, so we didn't answer your question, though.
Which phone? Yeah.
Yeah, which phone? Which one are you leaning to? Which is Jason Howell leaning towards? And then all the other phone makers out there can go, well, wait, Jason, our phone will have this.
Well,
Fight. But which one are you leaning towards?
I mean, the Motorola... God, why am I suddenly blanking?
I don't have bloatware, D-Dog, because I have a Nexus S.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull up these phones here. The Motorola phone that was announced at CES. Why am I blanking on this? The one
the Bionic?
Yeah, the Bionic is one of them. It's not a dual core though, and that's kind of like the sticky point there is that I really wanted to kind of hold out for a dual core phone.
Okay.
But it's LTE. That's nice, and it's got the front facing camera, which is nice.
Yeah.
HTC has their is it the Thunderbolt? HTC Thunderbolt.
That might be coming out really soon too. I heard rumors mid-February.
No, chat room, you guys are right. The Bionic is dual core. It's the Thunderbolt that is single core.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I got them confused. But the HTC Thunderbolt, which I actually really liked, and then I realized that it was single core. But let's see here. There still hasn't been that one.
He hasn't decided.
There still hasn't been that one. And honestly, even if I had decided, I wouldn't decide because I'm not getting out of my contract until towards the end of the year.
Oh, man. So
and by then there will be another anointed king as we...
I keep waiting for you to walk through that door of the TWiT cottage with a new phone.
Check it out.
And I'm like, whoa, what is that? But you don't ever.
No, I know. Yeah, it's probably going to be a while. Jim 4, I have the original Motorola Droid in all of its... where's the...
There you go.
Hey.
Hey, let's show that keyboard.
The old classic that never dies.
Oh, I'm sorry to those of you who I have belittled about needing a keyboard because I understand your needs. I just don't. Oh, who is that?
Oh, no, my wife says add some broccoli. Hi, Tom Merritt.
Tom Merritt's here. Yeah, Sawyer's been, he's our mascot, actually. I think we're demoting him from third co-host to mascot.
Sawyer has been there the entire show.
Yes, he has not left, but he obviously wants to talk to you now. Okay, go ahead, Sawyer. You can, Sawyer. Okay, you can leave. He's been very good. He stayed when I asked him to.
Yeah, he's been doing great. He's obviously very interested in the show.
He's very interested in.
If he knew, are you saying if he knew more about Android, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm out of here."
Are you saying he's an iPhone dog? What? Django's the iPhone dog. Okay.
Oh,
I think so.
They should be in a commercial together.
They should.
With a white background. There you go.
Okay, Jason has not decided. Whoa, here we go. Bye.
Wow. Okay. I guess your preference is Tom and not the Android show. Jeez. And just real quick, Jacob, what ROM do I use? Bugless Beast is the ROM that I use, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on a future show because I love it. Is there any other news to touch on, or
I just threw in a few things, but I mean, they're just kind of, is Nokia going to embrace an Android phone? Okay, I think what we'll do.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah, I mean, my first phone was a Nokia. Mm-hmm. First phone, and I loved it, and I never went back after that. Mm-hmm. I got carried away. I got the Sony Ericsson, then I got a Razr. Mm-hmm. I think there was something else in between there, and then I started with the smartphones. I never got a Trio, and then I started with an iPhone, and then
personally, I don't think of Nokia when I think of smartphone.
No,
I think of
but they have really cool specs with their phones and the cameras and everything. It's just never.
Doesn't really pop in my head. But Elop, is it Stephen Elop, CEO of Nokia, basically said during a webcast that they were going to announce a major smartphone strategy shift on February 11th is the date he threw out, and said that Nokia must compete on an ecosystem-to-ecosystem basis. In addition to great devices, we must build, catalyze, and or join, there you go, a competitive ecosystem that allows them to kind of create their own experience. And Windows Phone 7, what I understand, doesn't. So you kind of, and iOS doesn't. So, you kind of deduct from that it's possible that it's Android for Nokia. That would be a big deal.
So I jumped around in our little rundown here. We started with hardware.
Yeah, we started with hardware.
Well, we started with ideas, and then when we got to the dock, I went straight to hardware because I got really excited. Oh, but we got to show the Honeycomb. We got to show, the Nook, and what about the Atrix, Jason? Because do I really want to talk about Google hoping to fix weak growth of Android market app purchases? That's so negative, Jason.
Oh, we don't want to shine any sort of negative light on Android.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, we would talk about, these are the kinds of things we would talk about.
And this is a big discussion point because, and at a future point, I was thinking we were possibly going to have Ron Richards on the brainstorm today, and I wanted to pose a question to the room, which was how many of us have bought Android apps for our phones? How many have bought 5 Android apps?
I think
maybe.
I think
10
I have.
Android apps.
Oh no, that would.
See, but I mean, I found in the early stages that I didn't buy any. It was all free.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Even if it had a companion app that was a paid app and it was better and offered more functionality, I still wouldn't do it.
Well,
now I buy them all the time.
What's funny is games. So there is Fruit Ninja on here.
Yep.
But there's also what happened here? There's also Ninja Fruit. Or whatever, Ninja, the knockoff that came out first.
Yep, it did.
And
I remember I actually downloaded that.
I have that one. There it is, Ninja Kaka. That's a horrible name.
Yeah, that is.
Ninja Kaka. There we go. That's a horrible name, but I have it. And, I mean, quite honestly, do I want to do...
Do you like it better?
It's, it's fine.
It's the same thing.
It's fine. I mean, look at it. It's doing the same thing. It's not the official game, but whatever. And it's free.
Yeah.
So am I going to get the other one? I haven't yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well, and to be to be fair,
I'm just gonna sit here and play Ninja Kaka.
The actual version of Fruit Ninja is like $1.99. It's ridiculously cheap.
I know, but I'm like, wow, this is free.
This is good enough.
This is good enough. I guess you won't, have those game achievements, that everybody else has and share.
Yeah,
it's not the same platform, whatever. But
true passionate players of Fruit Ninja will probably be able to tell you a number of differences between this and the other one, But I do think it's interesting, and I wonder if that's kind of a common thing for people when they get into the Android universe is that there's just such a glut of apps, both good and many bad, in the Android App Store.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop right now. Shut up.
My brain is being slayed right now, and I'm having a hard time talking.
I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm going to leave that. Leave that away. Silent but deadly. That. Oh, great. Yeah. Now everybody's like, that's annoying, Eileen.
But anyway,
well,
so Google has to, obviously, they have to work on also, you know, as this article points out, the in-app purchases, which is something that Rovio really wants to do with Angry Birds. There is no real way for them to do it currently with Google, so they want to do their Angry Piggy Bank piggy bank platform for in-app purchases. And I don't know, maybe this is a realization that was come to a long, long time ago with iOS, but it's all about those little micropayments for developers and making it easy for people to part ways. Because once I've linked up my credit card account to Google Checkout or whatever, it's so ridiculously easy for me to buy these apps. I find myself doing it now and not even thinking about it, because I'm like, oh, whatever, I know I've got money in there to pay for it. And
exactly.
I never look at that bill later to see that $1.99 purchase. So anyways, it's definitely something that they need to work on. It's a big weakness of the marketplace right now.
Sorry if I annoyed you guys with Ninja Kaka.
It's just that fun.
I just didn't want to. I only had 28 seconds left. I really wanted to see if I could beat my score.
Hey, let's do this. I put out a call on Twitter.
Yeah.
For a few people, a few good people to send in 60-second app reviews of their own, and we got a couple. You want to watch them?
I do. I'd love to. Thank you for contributing.
Absolutely.
Let's watch them.
So this is kind of a concept. Like one of the ideas that we had was leaving it up to you guys to film some sort of a 60-second, and I'd say 60-second, but 60 seconds or less. Keep it at 60 seconds at the most. Review of an app that you really like, and I'll be interested to see where this goes. Are they really edited? Are they super quick and dirty? What do people prefer over the others? So this first one is Sam Prosser, and I'll go ahead and get this up before it starts playing here. All right, this is Slice It appears.
Oh, I know Slice It.
Hey, Jason, Eileen. So this is my favorite.
Oh, full screen it, sorry.
Hey, Jason, Eileen. So this is my favorite or most used Android app. It's basically a puzzle game, and so you have so many line strokes to cut the shape into how many slices the game asks for. So you see here now, you have a goal of 2 shapes. And I have 1 line stroke to use, so I just cut down the middle here.
No, that's wrong.
And
oh, no, wait, that's right.
They're clear, and you have like a star rating system, like Angry Birds. You have hints. But there's plenty of levels. And the best thing is, it's free. While on the iOS store, it's actually paid.
Oh,
so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hope to see the show come out. See you guys.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, I have that app, and I got frustrated on the higher level, and I stopped.
Oh, really?
This is one of those, like, oh, man, you really got to think. Once you get to the higher levels, wait, you want me to slice the triangle into 5? Okay.
Damn it.
It's good.
Geometry,
it's
not my strong suit. Definitely not my strong suit.
And like you said, it's free. That's great.
Well, and it's following that ad model that Rovio, I don't know if they necessarily started, but that was the really big kind of example of it, which is on the iOS it's paid for, and we've all heard that people on the iOS platform are possibly more willing to part with their money for apps that they really like, and on the Android market it's free, but ad supported.
Right, there's the ad on the bottom. This is the game actually that we just saw, and then the ads just keep going.
Do the ads like that bother you?
I have to say, it didn't here, but when I first started playing Angry Birds on the Android, it kind of did.
Just a little too intrusive.
I saw it on the bottom there, and it kind of bugged me because I didn't see it there before. Yeah, playing it earlier. So yeah, see, and then it just flips.
Yeah, because rarely does it really bother me. They're just kind of there and out of the way, and as long as it's not like swooshing in and covering my gameplay and or really impeding on my use of the app, then it doesn't really bother me that much.
Right.
And hey, they're getting paid somehow. This other one is from a friend in the chat room, Joshua Caleb.
Great.
Check this one out here. Let's see here.
There we go. 60-second app review. DroidCraft. Go. DroidCraft is a Minecraft-like adventure game that puts you in the shoes of an amnesiac who finds himself lost in the middle of nowhere, trying to find his way back home. But you're not alone. There are people you can talk to for help and monsters to fight above ground or below. You can also harvest many resources from the expansive, randomly generated landscape and underground tunnel system. You combine them to make items, weapons, and foodstuffs, and even build houses. DroidCraft is available in the Android Marketplace, free for the light version, or $1.99 for the full version.
Nice.
I am going to get the
that looks like fun.
Light version right now and see if I like it.
See if it turns you into an addict of the game.
Okay.
That's pretty sweet.
I'm literally downloading it. I'm in the store, free. Okay.
I like the production quality as well.
That was awesome.
That was
Thanks,
awesome.
Joshua. That was great. So those are the kinds of things that we'd like to see. You guys contribute if there's something new or impressive about an app. You know, I mean, obviously 60 seconds isn't a long time, but there might be something really impressive that you want to show off. Send it to us.
Yeah, no, I mean, and especially something like that. I've never even heard of this game, and it actually looks pretty cool. I don't have a whole lot of time to play games lately.
I know.
I hope to get back there someday, but lately it just hasn't happened a whole lot.
So
but I would totally check that out.
So it's interesting. I did a search for DroidCraft, and then I get a bunch of craft brewery apps: Portland, Seattle, San Diego, Asheville. Little search function there.
Excellent.
Okay.
You get some free beer through your Android phone or something. I don't know. It says free, right? It says free.
Well, it says provides selectable Google Maps markets for the Portland area's craft breweries.
I totally forgot that I was supposed to be loading today's Green Tech today onto this computer.
Oh, you are? Okay.
So I'm going to do that in the background.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
Few more
yes, we have a few more minutes left before we're going to play today's Green Tech Today with Dr. Kiki, and we'll bide some time. So any other questions? So I think what we need to do is come up with segment names with our news, if we go into hardware, and our app reviews, help and how to.
Sawyer. Sorry,
Sawyer?
Sawyer's in the cables.
Oh no, that's not a good thing.
The TV might go off. Yeah, definitely coming up with names. And I mean, is this the type of thing that we want to get cute with them, or do we want them to be just descriptive?
Descriptive. I mean, I was thinking that
maybe a little clever.
I was thinking that when we do the app reviews and we do the the head-to-head app reviews, we go into the arena. That would be the Android arena. So it'd be like ding 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 fight. So once we get to that point, I'm like, you know what, Jason, let's head to the arena.
Ding ding ding. Let's get ready to review.
And so I didn't bring my green Android guy. So my idea is I wonder if somebody could make this. So you see in this arena, you see two androids, one blue and how about one blue and one green?
Oh, I like it.
And they're like sumo wrestlers, and they're like, don't fight. And then someone come up with a slate.
Big explosion, and then out of the explosion comes the title name.
And then us. And then we're like, okay, hi. So
hi.
We're back.
Hey.
Hi. Here's the
We're
app
here
review.
again. We can't possibly live up to that that intro.
Can someone make that for me? Would that be awesome? Okay, so that was my idea for the app section. I don't know about hardware.
Cool. Well, then I guess how about the challenge for the next week is I'll just list off some of the segment ideas that we have, and if something jumps out at you as far as names for these segments or whatever, email it to twitshowbeta@gmail.com. Now that we have All About Android, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get an email address that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so the segments that we've talked about are news, hardware, app reviews. And, I don't know.
Really help and how to. What do you think?
Help and how to?
I think we should have a little segment for that.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Some
then,
sort of help, how to, or tips and tricks, something like that.
Yeah, and then
But,
email.
you can name these.
Email will just be the end of the show. We could talk about emails and.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think the idea of the show is to be as collaborative with the audience as possible.
Yep.
So in some sense, it's not necessarily just email. We might be reading emails in the middle of the show or something.
Right. Or we might be reading a Twitter message that someone sent us that was
during the middle of the show.
Apropos.
We'll try and interact as much as possible. But
of course, there's the app versus app, whatever that ends up being called, the battle royale, the combat robot. whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want.
That's up to you.
Yeah.
And then, well, the app releases and updates. I mean, would that just be part of the app reviews?
I think so.
Area. It doesn't need to be called out by its own segment. It's like the app section, the hardware, the news.
Yeah. Let's head to the arena. Yeah. I guess so. I think we could do that. We could just be like, oh, but before we get into our, competition or whatever we're going to call it, we have some updates.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Here and let's see here. So just real quick before we switch over, the app versus app, Cheeto sent in a suggestion that I actually thought was pretty cool. Comparing the two against each other, we had talked about then leaving it up to the viewers or something like that to place a vote and anoint a winner based on their own experience with the app or the buzz and that sort of stuff, and then possibly announce that on the next episode. Or what we could do within the show, if we wanted to format it a little bit differently, is at the top of the show we have some sort of a battle, and maybe we don't want to do that, but that would allow us to then use poll.cm where I can go in here at the top and be like, which do you like better?
Oh, nice.
Which do you like better?
My only issue with that is, there's a lot of people who would download the show later and wouldn't have a chance to interact immediately. But
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's just something to think about.
And then, you end up with this, and then you publish the poll number.
Oh, I like it.
And then you just go and vote.
I like.
And it tells you.
You could do with this.
See? Gives you a little pie chart. Isn't that cool? It's like a super slick, quick polling site that I'd never heard of before.
I'd never heard of that either.
So maybe there's some way to integrate that. I don't know if that's necessarily the way that we do it. That could be for other things.
I like
that could
it,
be
though.
for another, Totally.
Well, maybe, if we just have two apps.
Or we just have that and we plug that URL and that's where people go for the next week and vote. And that's just how we
love it.
Yeah. Thank you, Cheeto. That was an awesome suggestion.
Thank you, Cheeto.
I think that's it.
I think
we've come very far into brainstorm episodes.
Thanks, guys. I hope you guys got a little bit more out of it today. We talked a little bit more about issues and news and things
and stuff.
And hopefully you get to know who we are and what we like and blah blah blah. But we'll be back next week at noon. And,
that's right. And in the meantime, send in your suggestions. We're still very open. This is still totally a live, creating experience. twitshowbeta@gmail.com for now, and I'm sure that email address will change. But if you want up-to-the-minute updates about this stuff, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Raygun01, and you are Eileen TV.
Sí,
Excellent.
senor.
All right. So that's it.